how many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? And how many times can a man turn his head, pretend that he just doesn't see?
Dare to think. Be a human. Our modern world welcomes communication. From all, to all, for all. And in doing so, maybe open up new perspectives. That's great. Use it. Communicate. Inform. But there's a growing concern about the truth or not the truth. World leaders are accusing each other for interfering in elections by posting fake information. Company reputations suffer evil attacks. People complain about insults and lies which damages their reputation. This is of all ages and cultures. New is the scale of the impact because of our digital age. Let's understand how history repeats itself.
I found an excellent guide. It's a fresco named the School of Athens. When I visited Rome as a tourist, I saw it in the Vatican Museum. I realized how the narratives of the School of Athens resemble today's facts and fake information chaos. The original name of the painting is The Search for Truth. The painter is Raffaello Santi, who lived from 1483 to 1520. What can we learn from all those old-aged figures in fancy clothes in a school that doesn't look like a school? The people on this set are studying, teaching, debating, writing and more. As you see, all peacefully. The topic is the truth about the meaning of our existence, shortened to The Search for Truth. The composition of this fresco is like an opening scene from an Italian grand opera. The set looks like St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. There are two wall sculptures in front of the pillars supporting the vault. On the left side, the ancient Greek god Apollo, honored because of his smart and rational way of problem solving. On the right, the Greek goddess Pallas Athene, the goddess of war and wisdom. In the top of the vault we see a glimpse of the universe. The key actors in the middle represent the continuum of thinking about the courses of life throughout the ages. Each of them carries a book, educated people as they are, not warriors. The person on the left is Plato. His book is called Timaeus. On his right side is Aristotle. His book is called Ethics. Plato points his hand upwards, suggesting that the truth is in the invisible spiritual world, where the souls of the past may find peace and happiness. Aristotle points downward to the earth, a source to be explored for finding the truth. The half-naked man on the steps looks like the hippie of his time. He is the philosopher Diogenes, showing that he possesses nothing. He lives in a barrel and eats what he finds on the street. He is nicknamed the dog. It is his pure and honest way to live. His message is simple. Whatever these philosophers may claim, they talk about nothing. Don't believe them. Why? Well, all people hide themselves behind a mask of ethical correctness, goods, fashion, etiquette, lifestyle, money and whatever you can think to cover up own malicious interests and bestial lusts. They lie and even kill for whatsoever, as it suits them for their selfish interest. They only fear exposure of who they are in reality. That's why they like to stay between like-minded people from whom they have nothing to fear. Diogenes' judgment of Plato and Aristotle is destructive. He explains that their fancy talks provide the social acceptable masks where people hide behind.
Notice that no other actor on the stage looks at Diogenes. There are many jokes about him. Passers-by escape confrontation, laugh at him. His colleague philosophers call him a cynic. He challenges the credibility of everyone, also the leaders of societies and nations. The question is he speaking the truth or not? In our present time, Diogenes can be seen as the voice of many, in search for authenticity, the truth, but they are deceived.
Plato is founder of the first academy in Western Hemisphere. In the book under his arm, he assumes that the beauty of the world is organized by a super spirit named Timaeus. The human being can't see the spiritual world because of the split in the two units of body and soul. The soul is a spirit, but framed in a limited body. Focusing on the body is a losing game. So all that matters is that strong, competent leaders control the people to the promised eternity, awaking them after they die. While living, that requires strong laws and peoples who believe or at least obey their leaders, with a carrot or a stick. History shows that famous spiritual leaders, like Lao-Tse, Buddha, Moses, Jesus and Mohammed, and political leaders, such as Lenin, Hitler, Pol Pot, etc., claimed to know the truth and the way to get there. Most of them left an organizational framework, writings, a code of conduct, rituals, culminating in a culture of behavior. Throughout the ages, more and more traditions have been established, and people still enjoy the ceremonies, the robes, the parades, the statues, the music, the burning at the stake, and the beheadings. In short, people are kept under control. In the context of this fresco, the Roman Catholic Church was the dominating entity leading its peoples to heaven. However, other political and religious concepts fit seamlessly in Plato's insights in how to lead people. But research, remember the hand downward of Aristotle, didn't find any proof whatsoever for the existence of a spiritual world in the afterlife. Heaven, limbo, resurrection at the end of times, last judgment and hell don't exist. Facts about the creation exclude the stories in holy books. Plato designed the fiction of Timaeus only in his head. It's fake. What is the impact of this evidence on the leaders and their followers? None. The search proven truth is for them not relevant. They simply changed the label claiming to know the truth for believing the truth. To know is objective and fact-based. To believe is factless. To defend their traditions, they say, if so many people believe the same, then it's true. That's why Platonic traditions are still very powerful, because of the number of the followers, the sense of misplaced loyalty, and the authority of leaders.
What is the lesson? First,
if Plato can create fiction without any proof or evidence, everybody can. On social media, everyone can become a follower and influencer on anything, even if what is posted is true or fake.
second,
Plato's governance model is follow the leader. If not with the carrot, then with the stick.
third,
Freedom of speech and Platonic leadership is a toxic mix when freedom of speech has dissenting opinion.
and fourth,
In our digital age, dissenting opinions are easy to follow and easy to eliminate. A pupil of Plato, Aristotle, teaches quite the opposite. Not fiction or imagination, but use your hands, your senses and your brain. All truth is hidden in the universe, including yourself. Be craftsman. Be proud of what you achieve. Take responsibility for your behavior. Conscience should be your code of conduct, not fear. In Aristotle's opinion, information is established research based on facts. The followers of Plato base their opinion on fiction, which is not compatible with science. As an example, take the famous verdict of Galileo by the Roman Catholic Church in 1633, rejecting the scientific findings of Galileo. it was a complete denial of science. In short, Galileo said the earth revolved around the sun, and not the sun around the earth. The view of the church, not based on facts, was that the sun revolved around the earth. This fake view was a clear proof of the church's disconnectedness with science. So, summarizing the discussion between Plato and Aristotle with today's knowledge is between fiction and facts. This is the same discussion which is happening in our digital age.
If fiction wins,
what is the consequence? Let's look at a famous example of ruling by ignorance. You see the man in green? He portrays Socrates. His lesson is, first of all, know who you are yourself. Daily, he was present in the gymnasium of Athens to discuss questions of life in public with passers-by. With his fingers, he indicates the studies you should follow before you should participate in a philosophical debate. His method is as follows. He confronts people with their own words by asking and keeps exploring them on the level of ethics, thus demasking people. He gets admiration by many for finding the truth, but he was being ridiculed by some, and others get irritated by him. Unfortunately, Socrates applied the method outside the school in his function of co-administrator in the city of Athens. He made enemies who took revenge and after a mock trial sentenced him to death by the poison cup.
truth was no issue in public discussion. Socrates is the type of the standard loser, knowing the truth but not being acknowledged. To say it simple, wise guys are not popular. Truth is dead when fiction wins. This is normal today as grandma's apple pie. Other figures on the fresco contribute to the search for their truth as they see it. On the left, the Plato adepts. On the right, followers of Aristotle.
The figure of Heraclitus in front draws the attention by his isolated position, his introverted attitude, and the position of the marble blocks which he leans on. Raphael painted this stone crossway perspective to characterize his attitude against truth. He denies any possibility of eternal truth whatsoever. The man warns us. Nothing is certain. Everything changes as we speak. Don't rely on eternal truth and security. The only thing for sure is change. Change destroys safety and belief in standards and values. Man needs stable truth as a moral compass. Heraclitus worries about the impossibility of truth. To transfer Heraclitus' thinking to our time, how does mankind cope with change? Change can be a war or tsunami, bringing misery, but also joy with great invention or the jackpot. Change with misery, as well as exciting opportunities, and one's misfortune is the other's fortune. And if you create change, you create positive or negative opportunities, maybe for masses.
That is the philosophy of daily life. Seize your chances.
The man in the left corner in front, Pythagoras, writes his book, External Truth Exists. He searches for arithmetical logic, following objective rules of thinking, because you need to prove what you claim. Proof is absolute, even if you cannot understand it. All what yet is unproven will be proven in the future. Looking back from this day to Pythagoras, civilization shows that his standpoint, you need to prove what you claim, is the cornerstone of development. He is right. However, too many in our digital age do not abide his standpoint. That's the discussion. In fact, the cooperation between arithmetic, mathematics, and empirical science made the modern technology age possible, which we consume daily. In these disciplines is no space for fake.
The digital world is like a headache for governments. How to sort out facts from fake.
The third person in the group, Parmenides, looking over his shoulder, tells us in addition that only what is in our consciousness exists is. The world is constructed, not how we perceive it. Perceptions are subjective, deceptive. Logic brings us to the definition of what is. What is not rationally defined does not exist. Truth is compelling for man's behavior, period. There is a valid critic. The product of thought depends on the input. Examples: colonial prejudice about superiority, racial theories of the Third Reich, statistic models for judging human behavior, artificial intelligence, algorithms for predicting behavior. All these inputs are not rational, but do exist. Translating Parmenides to our time, we could conclude that he is the missing link in the behavioral chain. Many people do not choose the truth as a leading compass for the behavior, nor do governments and organizations. Proof are many scandals on all levels in our time. Lying, not the truth, has taken front seat. Examples are not only on social media, but all over. Let's in short mention some scientists on the right side of the fresco. They have in common that they support Aristotle. One sees Ptolemaios with a globe, and Strabo carries a model of the starry sky. The bent-over figure in the foreground is Euclid, the mathematician, who explains its figures to 4 children in different stadia of development.
Surprise! We also see the self-portrait of the painter, Raffaello. He wears a blue cap. Being a craftsman, he was proud of his achievements. His position on the right side of the fresco is a statement.
Let's summarize and conclude. Searching for the truth by thinking is supported by Pythagoras in his arithmetical logic and claim for proof. Parmenides: truth exists in rational definitions, perceptions are deceptive. Socrates, with his consequently search for truth in ethical behavior. Plato is no added value in the search for truth. His concept is based on fiction, not facts. His leadership concept, follow the leader, leaves no space for dissenting opinion or facts. In our time this is called dictatorship. Heraclitus denies the existence of eternal truth because everything changes constantly. This standpoint is not helpful in the searching for truth. The question is not fake or true, but do I benefit? Aristotle supports truth in searching facts. In our time, the main conflict between true and fake is about the absence of proof. The solution is in the challenge of the personal responsibility of everyone who posts whatever on social media or read or forward messages. Everyone needs to educate oneself in this line of critical thinking. Dare to think. Thank you.
And how many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? Yes, and how many years must one man have before he can hear people cry? And how many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.